Elden Ring. The game that won many hearts with the story that captivated it. And even won Game of the Year, deservingly so. A game radiating with such beauty and secrets that often mirrors life itself. I mean, sure, we aren't fighting 10 feet tall demigods, or even a god in that matter, but we're fighting something else entirely. Something internally. Issues that we don't want to talk about. That could be mountainous itself, or suffocating like scarlet rot. That itself ties into what I'll be talking about. An understanding of how this one simple game has honestly helped me throughout my own struggles. On the side note though, I hope this video doesn't come out late. Oh. Yeah, my fault. It seems like I've disappeared off the face of the earth. But I'm back, and I would appreciate it if you guys would like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. And if you don't, just do it anyway, just to help me out. Anywho, back to the topic. In moments of hardships, I often find myself gravitating to games that challenge me. Games that would be seen outright frustrating and add more to your issues. But you'd be surprised how such a game can help, and how it helps reaffirm teachings that were well known, but aren't used a lot. How going through such an experience can mirror a lot like life itself. In both life and the game, hardships are present, almost as if it's inevitable. But there's a silver lining. In a period prior to those hardships, there's a grace. Whether before the boss fight or after the fight, it's there to serve as a moment of rest. A gentle reminder that regardless of what happens, the outcome of the storm lies in peace. In Elden Ring, you start off as a tarnished, a nobody that's been saved by grace. And from the moment you step into the very first area, you're met with an adversary, one who calls you meaningless. Such can be said for many of us, who either recently graduated or is about to, with one foot out the door, not knowing where to go or what to do. Such a situation, it's easy to fall into despair, and that despair brings about tunnel vision. And if you were the tarnished, you'd see complete darkness besides the gray spots or rest spots. A place to be away from all the negativity and anxious thoughts. A place of refuge. Now, let's talk about grace. An essential core mechanic of the game. As I've stated before, that graces are safe spots for you. A place of rest that mirrors life, with its short moments of rest before things eventually pick up. Temporary hubs where you're completely safe from what's happening and what's to come. But even after reaching it, which itself can be seen as an achievement, you still have to keep moving forward to face what's in front of you. For the path to the next one is an uphill climb, ranging from mountains to valleys, to peaks and drops. But those moments of rest, which can rather be short, can truly help you. The thing that Elden Ring does different from other FromSoft games is that grace, the grace itself, guides you to the next one. Moving from grace to grace, laying out your path in a world that may seem confusing or dark, especially without any map fragments. But even in total darkness, you can't help but admire the world's beauty. The game itself is pretty linear, story-wise, but it also gives you unrestricted freedom from the get-go. And how you choose to tackle the game and its bosses is entirely up to you. But there's consequences. Such a thing can be said about our path in life, seemingly endless and limitless, but the choices are entirely in our hands. To progress anything at all, it all begins with a single step. A single ginormous step which may seem impossible to begin with, and that's facing the challenges head on. You as a player have the option to completely avoid all the bosses or to face them. But by avoiding them, you'll come to find out that the only way to progress is to tackle them head on. That first step seems the hardest because it's forcing you out of what you're comfortable with. But our issues won't go away if we avoid them. They will remain unless action is done, or even grow to the point where you feel powerless over it. Many trials happen in the game. Countless moments where controllers were smashed, keyboards were destroyed, or even setups. But in said trials, you're always given the option to try again. A strong reminder plays for me during these moments of hardships. It's not your failure that dictates your success. It's your effort. So no matter how many times the tarnish falls, they get back up. Every single time. And when you overcome whatever hardship you're dealing with, the joy you experience will be like no other. In some moments, we bite off more than we can chew, and we struggle over and over and over again, seeing others' success and believing that it can be attained alone. Don't let your pride fool you to keep things by yourself and never ask for help, because you'll soon realize that some things are just too much for one person alone. When I first played the game for the very first time, I started out with some friends, and at the same time, we all progressed. But over time, I realized that they've progressed more than me, going on to beat the game before me, and in me witnessing that, I thought I could do that, but I struggled. Radagon, you know, the final boss, which is a good boss that both of them beat by themselves, and I too thought I could do the same, but I struggled over and over and over again. In my pride, I refused to ask for help, because if they beat them, surely I can do it too. But one thing I didn't take into account is that everyone has strengths and weaknesses. Where I struggled, they didn't. And where I didn't, they did. So I asked for help. Not because I was weak, maybe because I had a skill issue though, I can't lie, but because I knew my strength alone wasn't gonna overcome this. Safe to say, we beat him, even though it was a bit harder. Could I have beaten him by myself? Yes. Possibly. But it would have taken longer. And such a thing mirrors our behavior in life. How we often try to avoid our issues, or how we hold on to pride and never ask for help, even when we're clearly struggling. Letting go of that pride is what makes us stronger in the end. No matter what may come, you won't see the light unless you keep moving. The rest comes after the storm. It's easy to fall into despair when you try to piece together everything while not being able to understand at all. Easy to fall when you're so focused on taking the first step and not messing up. to be anxious or even depressed. That brings me to Dark Souls. Dark Souls follows the same formula with Elden Ring, but also introduces its own twist. See, in Dark Souls, there's an effect that happens when you die too many times, leaving you to be hollow. And that itself is symbolic in the sense of losing hope, after struggling with something for a long time. With each bonfire and an item, removing said status. A bonfire, or grace, doesn't have to be a physical home. It can be those who are closest to you, those who care for you as family. In our case though, we often go hollow more times than we can count. Dealing with depression and losing the meaning of this life. Walking in a tunnel that seems endless with no light. For me, I was in a depressive state. It felt like everything around me was a lie and all my efforts were wasted. Over time, I started to find everything meaningless, void of any value, any merit. Doing the same repetitive things every single day, making it lose its meaning, and I tried to find meaning for such things, to distract myself from how I felt, to figure out what I want. And then it hit me. I didn't know what I want. If I got what I wanted, will it truly fill me? Will I truly be satisfied? I wrestled with my thoughts and kept on asking questions to myself to figure out a conclusion. Then another question hit me. Am I truly depressed? Or am I lacking ambition? Wandering around without purpose? If that is the case, then what's my purpose? The tarnish in Elden Ring came from nowhere, but there was one goal from the get-go: to become Elden Lord, an idea so grand it seemed impossible from the start of the game. Many have tried before you, and many have failed. There's only one who came so close to attaining such a title, but failed in the end. Even though the premise of the game is just you cleaning up the messiest divorce in history, the idea itself seems so grand and impossible. But if this game has taught me one thing, is that even though it seems impossible, it's attainable. But then again, what is mine? If that's the tarnish, then what is my own? The short answer is, I don't know. I don't know what my purpose is, and I don't know if I'll truly ever know. But one thing I know is that each step I take to figure it out will result in failure. And failure itself is something we'll all have to overcome to progress. To those who are in a similar situation, such as myself, who have either recently graduated college or high school, or about to, who feel overwhelmed by the negative news after negative news, who's trying to pick themselves up, feeling lost. To those who are constantly beaten down by life itself, with no outlet to lift them up, to speak life into them. Failure is something we'll face. You're not going to be able to find your footing at first. And that's normal. You can't be in between the ages of 17 to 23. Well, let's lower that to 21 to 22. With your life figured out already. If that's the case, then hardship wouldn't exist at all. But that isn't the case at all. The goal is to take that step, and you will fall. But as I've said before, It's not your failure that dictates your outcome, but your effort. Even if you feel like you're putting 100%, that is better than none at all. Each step is worth rejoicing over. So take that step. It will be scary, and if you fall, you can always get back up. What was lost can be found. What was demolished can be built up. Just keep walking. Things will make sense after the storm. Well, yeah, that's the end of the video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it, and forgive me for if I sounded low in some areas. Well, more than some areas. I was sick as I was recording this, so my throat was killing me. I couldn't really speak as loud as I wanted to. But overall, I think I'm satisfied. You know, in the process of making this video, I struggled to answer a question. That question being, how do I bring hope to those who are hopeless? You know, because I'm kind of in the same boat. Trying to figure out an answer to that is really hard, considering the fact that it's multi-layered and it's not just a one-size-fits-all answer. But I'm satisfied with the answer I came up with. The fact that it's inevitable and that we will fall multiple times. But just like the tarnished, we're always going to get back up. And it's not that your failure defines you. It's your effort and your action. But yeah, overall guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. And do the usuals. I'll catch you guys later though. God bless.